So, how are people taking it? Because uh, I really read one interesting thing in your report where there is, what I call as a confirmation bias, and then there is an affinity bias, right? So, therefore, my ability to assess myself honestly, okay, is a very big, uh, I would say, risk because
Yeah.
it's a very, very hard, uh, I would say, uh, analysis about myself when I'm looking at the mirror and saying, am I, you know, assessing myself honestly? So, how are companies taking it? Because when you get in there, one of the challenges is some of them have already, become functional heads or business heads, and you are actually talking about these people not ready even for their current role, right? So, therefore, how do you really, handle somebody who is probably not ready for the current role and somebody who is probably not ready for the role that they're being promoted for? So how do you prepare them and how do people take it?
Well, I mean, I think we have a number of different approaches here. I mean, one is this is supposed to be a non-threatening approach. Like we definitely in the reports that we generate, this is not about final judgment or saying that we're really coming from the perspective of this is what we see in the patterns in which the transcript data that we evaluated. You're probably in this range. We always say put it in a range. Your best day you're going to behave more like this, and your worst day is you're going to behave more like this. And so we're measuring kind of where you sit on a normal day, or like on a typical day. Here's kind of where you land. So it's always going to be a developmental range. And then I think one of the most exciting things about what we offer is really clear next steps for how to get to that next level. And
Hmm.
so one would hope that the person who takes this is coachable enough that they're willing to continue to grow. And so but a lot of what we thought about initially in designing these instruments is that it's a lot about incentives. So startup founders, I haven't seen a lot of startup founders come to us voluntarily. A lot of what, it's mostly the VCs or investors kind of requiring them to undergo this. And it's not a judgment of anyone. It just, I think, people are busy, and it's often rare for someone to maybe seek advice or counsel. If they don't think they need it, or they haven't thought about some of these considerations. So to me, it's about incentives. So a lot of what we've built into our engagements is working with companies where they're requiring their employees to take this as part of learning and development, or as a promotion part of a promotional process. To me also, there's the dimension of, like, especially in hiring, people will, most people are amenable to it, but we've received, like, we just did some work with Stanford, and there was a fellowship we were helping them as part of their evaluation process, and several people declined to take it. It was you could decline to take it, and it wouldn't affect your position, but it was interesting that several people declined to take it because some people have religious beliefs. They don't want to be on camera. There's a variety of reasons people don't want to take it, but when people don't want to take it for the most part, and there's a fear, I feel like that's interesting information. Um, so as like a hiring manager, you're always being judged in some way by people. And
Hmm.
I would prefer to put my best foot forward and have a better understanding of, like, what I'm being measured on, rather than just someone's subjective opinion of whether I'm going to fit in with the culture. So it seems to me like a more objective way to make hiring decisions. So I find it interesting when people are afraid to take it.